That's just what the fuck we do.
All right, everybody, y'all already know we back with another episode of the Chop Shop, and I am the principal Coimer, and I got my boy Teasy. You feel me? For those that don't know, he gonna let y'all know, where he's from and who he is. You feel me?
What's up, Chop? TZ, raised in Pacoima, California, by way of San Fernando Valley.
Right.
Straight native.
Right. Hey, yeah. So from you being from the hometown and stuff, you attended any schools out there and stuff too?
I went to Van Nuys Elementary, and that was it.
Right.
We started making moves already. We built out in Santa Clarita, Antelope Valley, and then back to the valley.
Right. For sure. All right. I want to talk about Booked and Broke. About your YouTube, TV series. For those that don't know, my boy do his acting, and you let him know what you do, man.
So I started working in entertainment industry at about 2007, almost 15 years now, 15, 16 years now. Started out as an actor, and I ended up in film school, learned the trade. By the time I got to film school, I was assistant directing. I got my first big check assistant directing, so I kind of fell in line with that, and I was like, all right, that's where I'm making my money at. That's what I'm about to do. In addition to that, acting started off pretty slow, and I was like, all right, so they ain't gonna give me a shot. I got to create my own opportunities, pretty much, and that's how I landed out in film school. And so, post film school, I worked, learned the trade. Was on every set I could be on, and like I said, ended up assistant directing. A lot of the films that I was working on in school, I was assistant directing. And so by the time I was out of school, I had a feature film that, came my way and was like, yo, we need an assistant director. Can you do this? I'm like, hell yeah, I can do this. And signed on with that. And, that was like my first big real industry check. So I was like, all right, I can get used to this. This is my thing. And, a lot of long hours in 2015, I got signed with an agency commercially. I started booking national commercials, back to back, being on hold a lot, for commercials, and expanding my team, got a theatrical agent. And, I've been through a few of those. I'll keep it real.
Right.
Help the team, who was going, who supported the vision, who, could pitch me, put me out there in front of the people, get me in the rooms that I can't get into by myself. And that's pretty much how it all started, how it came to pass.
Right.
Booked and Broke specifically started out as I was in the movie Dolomite, and one of my scene partners in Dolomite was Lioness. And so she's the one who plays Trina inside Booked and Broke.
Right.
So, we filmed for about maybe 2 weeks. Our scenes was lit. A lot of the scenes that we did not actually make it into the movie. But, you know what I'm saying? We still got paid. We were still up there working, living the dream, doing what we do. And post that, you know what I mean? We had developed a good friendship, and, we like, what can we do? How we ain't gonna wait for these people to get an opportunity. Let's do something our own. And she was already on that show with somebody, and, kind of fell through. So she was like, hey, look, this is what I got. I would love for you to be a part of it. And that's pretty much how we came from. We had, writing room sessions. We, told jokes and did different things. And, that's how we got a lot of the dialogue, for the show.
For sure, for sure. And for those that didn't hear, or if y'all did, I'm gonna say it again. He was in Dolomite, and you go check out Booked and Broke. You know it's on Tubi. Go check it out, man. It's
And now on Tubi.
yeah.
You won't be mad or disappointed. If you want a good laugh, actually, go watch all 4 episodes, then
Go check it out. To me, it's funny as hell. You do your shit in that shit, asshole, for real.
I appreciate it. It was a great good time. And we actually filmed that during COVID.
Right.
We filmed that during COVID. You know what I mean? It was everybody used to tell we all quarantined together for the most part, and we did that.
Oh yeah, that was dope right there. Everybody quarantined, so y'all know it's everybody right. Y'all know everybody right.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, look, I want to get into this question right here. Since you told me directing and acting, which one do you like better?
I like acting more because for me, it's like therapy. You go to acting class, you get to bring out all these emotions and, suppress them again and bring them back. And, for me, it helps me release. I can get behind the character and go ham. There's no judgment. There's none of that. And so that's more. But I'm a lover of the art. And so, I enjoy it all.
For sure. Okay. And so back to Booked and Broke. Did you personally know any of the other actors that you starred in with, or any other, other directors?
So getting started, I only knew Lioness. And so she actually got all those people together. She produced it. She got the team, her and Rio, shout out to Rio. They both came and they did their thing. They worked together. Rio DP'd as well. So, he was getting the shots he would get. And yeah.
Right.
But since then, since filming, we're all, pretty cool and still keep in touch and, champion each other and what we have going on in our careers.
That's what's up. Build like a little relationship and stuff. You feel me? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So look, another question. How do you prepare for auditions?
Wow. So it's different ways, but really getting behind the character, answering the questions, who, what, where, why, what, how do they feel? The people I'm in the scene with, how do I make them feel? How am I moving the story forward? And getting behind that, sometimes you got to create backstory. So I take what I have and just kind of, well, this makes sense for this character, but that also comes with, reading books and learning different personality traits and, different things that makes that character pop and come to life.
Right. So, for sure. Have you ever been rejected from an audition that you?
Woo! If I showed you my rejection record, you would say, "Nigga, why are you still doing this? Why are you still in this?" I've been rejected so many times. I got rejected yesterday. So rejection comes. You're supposed to get 100 no's before your one yes. You know what I mean? I've gotten at least 3,600 no's. You know what I mean? But the yeses overcompensate for that. You know what I mean? It's like, what no? Once you get a production that gets behind you and, wants to work with you and, appreciates your craft, and, it's all love from there.
So how do you handle that? How do you handle rejection, and how would you let an up and coming actor that don't know about that type of stuff and get in there and get mad or try to be, oh man, fuck this and all that?
Actors are very sensitive when it comes to the art and, booking, auditioning, all that stuff. And rejections for me earlier in the game was like, damn, I ain't good enough. I ain't worthy. I ain't this. I ain't that. You know what I mean? Like, I gave my all. What you mean you ain't gonna have me on here? You know what I mean? And so that used to crush me. I'd be like, yo, I'm done with this. Forget everybody. I ain't messing with this casting office no more. I'm not doing this. But then as I grew, I realized that it was not about me. You know what I mean? Like, back in the day when auditions were in person, you would go to an audition, you would see 20 other people that look exactly like you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now it's like, well, what makes you special? They got the same haircut I got, same hair I got. We wearing the same pants. Half of us is dressed the same. You know what I mean? So things like that. I'm like, all right, here you go. And it'll crush you too if you ain't up on part. If you ain't, fresh and ready and, ready to deliver for your lines, then, all that'll mess with you. You start thinking about, you know, this person, what they're doing over here, if they killing it, you
Right.
hear laughter coming from the room, you hear something coming from that room. It's like, dang, all right, well, I don't know. I'm gonna come in here and I'm still do what I do anyway. And, for now, I just know that it's not specifically about me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could anything. I've seen it all. And it's like, dang, you wanted me, but then you end up casting a Caucasian guy or a Pacific Islander. You know what I mean? But it's like,
Yeah.
you
And you
know,
gave your right. Yeah, and about you, and that's for real. So look, do you have like a booking agent or a manager, and how do you stay updated on scenes and roles and stuff like that?
so I do have a team. I have a commercial agent and I have a theatrical agent. And between those two, they bring me the bulk of it. But, there are still casting sites like, LA Casting, Actors Access, and, things like that, that
Right.
for somebody who's starting out can go on and self submit for themselves if they don't have a team. And I still do that every day. I've been self submitting for years. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because starting out on that grind when I didn't have a team, if I wasn't doing it, I wasn't gonna get these jobs. I wouldn't know
Right.
about these people. Wouldn't be able to
Yeah.
go elbows with, whoever because I'm not, submitting. And even if it's not for something that I specifically want, you gotta look at the type of people that are involved. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And just being able to meet them and, get a rapport with them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, look, this is what I want to know because I done seen episode one trash, episode two, it's above me now, episode three, Jenga, four, when the tables don't turn. Like, is it more episodes coming for season one, or when is season two dropping? Like, what's up, man? Like, you left me stuck.
We get that question a lot. And, right now everybody's working and busy and furthering their career and what they're doing. We did tease a possible feature film for it, but, we'll see how that turns out and, if everybody be able to come back and, how to be able to spin it.
Man, yeah, man, because I'm waiting, man, or like, so since I gotta wait, is there anything else that you're working on that we can see you up in, or anything else dropping? What you got going on? Is there something that we can see in the future or something?
There are some things coming in the future. I have a new TV show coming uh, later this year. I have I have a short film that's in festivals right now. It's called CPA. I produce it under my own production company along with my wife and, some other talented people that I work with.
For sure.
Um, I got another film that's in the can right now. It's in post production. That's gonna hit the lines. It's gonna hit its premiere soon. That's called I Love This Arrangement. It's a TV pilot.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, TV pilot teaser. So I got that. I got a show going to BET late this summer. And like I said, another show that I did that's coming later this year as well. So there are definitely things in the works that are will be available to you guys very very soon.
All right, all right. Well, yeah, man, we're gonna conclude this, man. You already know, brother. I appreciate you pulling up to the chop shop, man, and letting everybody know about the shows and the stuff that's coming up, man, and let them know who you are, man. And you feel me?
Yeah, uh, link up with me. Follow me on the ground. TZB underscore 818. My film CPA the film or CPA underscore the film. And I try to post. I'm in the moment person, so recording a
Sir.
lot of stuff for the gram and stuff all the time just really don't suit me like I wanted to. um, I do all updates there. I share my wins. I share a lot of my losses, and Yeah.
Man, for real, man. Y'all check bro out, man. Tap in with him, man. Go follow him. Go check out all the shows, everything, man. Salute him, man. Support your own, man. We all we got.
We all we got. I appreciate you, man. Yo, I love this. I was talking to my son the other day and we were talking about podcasts. And I was like, I ain't never done a podcast. He was like, which is random because you would think you would have done a podcast right now. So this is my actual first official podcast that I've ever done.
Hey, thank you for that, man. Hey, thank you for allowing me to be the first one to get you on, man, for real.
I appreciate that. But that's like, talking things into fruition and it come true. Well, you know what I mean? It just come to pass. I'm like, oh, okay.
For sure. You already know me and you been posted the link, man, but now we chopping it up, man. But
it's still gonna happen. It's still gonna happen. I'll be busy out here. So
they got to, bro. We're gonna do that, man.
It's gonna be right because I don't want to rush nothing. I don't want to, put out nothing whack. Everything we do got to be quality.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're gonna do that.
Yes, sir.
All the time, man. Thank you for pulling up, bro.
You got it, man. Appreciate you.
All the time.
Dipping down the street on bounce, rock, roller skating. Dipping down the street on platinum dating. Roller skating. Dipping down the street on platinum dating. This a beat to make you bang on. This the type of beat I need a Nate Dogg to sing on. West Coast Lanosta, keep the doohickey on my lap, no holster. Sagler coaster, dreams are closer. Penitentiary flicks look like posters. Parks with Rosa, her niggas a poser. Smoking blunts back to back until we doze off.
Watson Wood, Pacoima, Compton.